This is Mpcardsangames recording. It's a week late, but I'm recording my regional deck profile that I took at regionals. I won 3, lost 3. I almost won 2 duels, but 2 other duels, but like I can tell you some of the stories of those later while we're into the deck profile, but we'll start now. For the hand traps, I'm not doing the normal 9 hand trap format thing because it bricks a fair bit for me. So instead I decided to play the 1 Maxi, the 1 Ghost Ogre, the 2 Ghost Ogre, and the 1 Ash Blossom. If I owned more Ash, I would play more Ash, but I only own 1 Ash, so yeah, the regional was pretty good though, and I came halfway. It was a 40-man regional, a bit littler than most regionals, but it was a 40-man, and I ended up coming 20th. Then we've got this is a Yosenju deck. Yeah, it's a deck I always go back to when I don't have a deck, especially when the Spirals got here. I am rebuilding that now, but like it's still having a bit of trouble in my opinion, the Spiral deck, but this is like, Yosenju is just the deck I always come back to. And I did beat a Spiral player, so it's not that hard to beat them these days. So I got 3 Yosenju Karma number 1, 3 Yosenju Karma number 2, and 3 Yosenju Karma number 3. They're the ones you want to play at 3. And then 1 Sujik. The Pendulum Monster's okay at 1, but like I don't play him at all just because of consistency and all the other engines that this deck is. And this deck's more than 40 cards, so yeah. Now for the windwitch engine, we play 1 Ice Spell. 1 Snowbell, 3 Ice Spell. This is just like really good. I top decked this a few games and it ended up winning me the game, just like top decking it, because my opponent usually wouldn't have an out to an indestructible crystal wing, because not as many people are playing kaijus at the moment. And then 2 glass spells. And also the problem with playing kaijus against this deck is most of the other stuff bounces back to the hand, so it isn't really that much of a problem if they try to kaiju me, usually, unless it's on my crystal wing. And the only reason why these are in different sleeves is I'm just testing my spirals, and those cards are probably in my spirals or another deck at the moment. They were in the same sleeve for the regionals. We also play a little stun engine that I do like playing against decks at special summon. So I played 1 Jowgen and 1 Fossil Diner. They both can stop a board that already has special summon monsters, or they can prevent people from special summoning. It's really nice sometimes though if you can make a crystal wing and then normal summon one of these, and then like your opponent has to probably they would want to destroy this before they destroy the crystal wing, just because they won't be able to do anything. Then we run 2 Gamma Seals. I know running different kaijus is usually better, but I'm only running just 2 Gamma Seals because they have they're the lowest attackers, and also you usually only see 1 anyway, especially now that we don't run Slumber anymore, just because it's too inconsistent. We also run an artifact engine, so this is like Yosenju put everything in it sort of deck, or it's Yosenju, Stun, Artifact, Windwitch, Kaiju. So play 1 Lancia, because this is good against ABC, good against Evenly Matched, and a few other cards. We did get Evenly Matched once during our own turn, but like he had a bit of a board, so it wasn't too devastating. Plus we were playing against a Trickstar player, and we were already losing because he was burning us. We also play 1 Mortec, just a good card, just to pop thing. And one other thing, because a lot of people would side in Twin Twisters against this deck. Some would side in Cosmic Cyclones, but a lot of people would side in Twin Twisters. These are really good sets as well against that, so they think that you're activating one of your other traps, but instead you have one of these set and then you special sup. Makes your opponent be wary on what they Heavy Dust Storm or Twin Twister more. And 2 Artifact Scythe. This is like one of the core cards of the deck. It's not usually too good to draw that engine unless they are playing Twin Twisters and that sort of stuff against you, but if you draw your 3 Sanctums, which are really good, you can play this against the Spiral player and they can't do anything for the turn. They might be able to summon their big guy, but even then they usually won't. he had a summon there, double pop. And also, if they try to destroy Artifact Sanctum by not vanishing it, the extra pop effect of Artifact Sanctum is really good. So we play 3 of it, and then we play 1 Mirror Force. I would play Storming or Quaking, but when you can make stuff like Crystal Wing or have a Sight artifact, it isn't the best to play Storming. And I just like the normal Mirror Force as well, and I also play a Storming Mirror Force just because it can bounce stuff back to the hand. 1 Torrential Tribute if our opponent makes a massive board. Since most of our cards bounce back to the hand, we don't need a lot of it, so we can activate this during our opponent's turn if they want to go off with something like Spirals. 1 Lost Wind, it's pretty much a budget strike, even though strike is now budget because of the reprint. But it was just another double thing. It didn't come up very often. I usually sided it out. 1 Heavy Dust Storm. I wouldn't mind maybe having another, but this is like a good spell and trap destruction that doesn't make us discard and it's a +1. Like, we used to play MST, but like the problems with that is it would only pop 1, and we'd play 2 anyway, and then it would end up being less than a Twin Twister. But now that you got Twin Twister in a trap without discarding, it's really good. Now for the Solemn Brigade, we played 3 strike, 3 warning. This was pretty good throughout the tournament if we drew it. We also played 1 Macro Cosmo just because it's good against Spirals and Windwitches, BA, a lot of decks that are graveyard reliant. Then we played 3 Fire Formation Tanky for the consistency, since all your Yosenju's a beast warrior. Then for our board wipes, we played 1 Dark Hole, 1 Regeki. If we'd had evenly matched, yeah, we would have played it because it's so good in this deck. But like, I don't own an evenly matched, so I didn't think there was a point of playing it. But yeah, I'll tell you a story when I get to the side deck. I'll do the side deck now, then I'll do the extra. But we played the 1 Drill Knockbird since I only own 1, but it's really good against Spirals. 1 Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit for our 3rd one. Then we play 3 Ghost Reaper, which you'll see in the extra deck why. This is good, and also in Yosenju, you usually get extra deck is just not a need, it's a want. So you don't need to play with the extra deck in Yosenju, so you can fill up with so many Reaper targets. We also play 1 Barrier Statue Infernity. I don't think this really came in handy. I think it might have once, but it's just like another stun card, and we just had like room in here. 1 Zaphion the Time Lord. It's just good against other sacky matchups like us that like to set 5 pass. It's just nice to have this to spin all their back row since we can't play Denko Sekka. We play another Kaiju Jizakuro. We could special a bigger one, and also if they played like Masterpiece, but we didn't really verse any Masterpiece decks. For the spells on the side, we have 1 System Down against ABC, and Cosmic Cyclone against also back row decks. Then against Twin Twisters, we play Starlight Road, since I'll show you we do play Stardust in the extra deck anyway. We can stop them from Twin Twistering or Heavy Dust Storming, and then we get to get a free Stardust. Then we play 1 Dimensional Barrier. Still, it's really the best. It's only really the best against Pendulums, but it still hurts decks like ABC, which we didn't actually verse any. And 3 Anti-Spell against Pendulum. I think this really only came in handy against Windwitch because we didn't actually verse any Pendulum. But I'll tell you a story about when we were versing So one story that I had was that I was versing against Spirals. I sided in like all my hand traps, and I ended up like drawing my Drool, 2 Ash, 2 Ghost, 1, and then I had like a Tanky, and then I drew going second into this, and I ended up stopping him from doing that. But then he had a Gofu, so then I didn't stop the Gofu, and then I kept on just drawing terrible for like turns and turns, and it was like, this was the game to decide if I'd go higher or not. And it was like game 3, so if I was able to have maybe gotten some of the hand traps, but maybe just like this, and maybe a Yosenju and a tanky, or even like a windwitch or a tanky, that would have just been a lot better. But they're not bad cards. It was just I drew too many of the right things against Spiral. Now we'll go on to the extra. I also lost against a stun matchup. I lost against Trickstar, but I won't talk about that since that's a fairly hard matchup for this deck to face against. But the stun variant, it was game 3 as well. But he had like heaps of dark bribes and like solemn strikes and that sort of stuff, so I ended up destroying all my board wipes against him and all my other outs to his deck by just negating them and negating my summons and everything. So then the end run I just ended up losing, but we were both really low on life. So for the extra deck we play one Windwitch Ice Spell. It helps you make the indestructible Crystal Wing, plus it burns a little bit. One Clear Wing Synchro Dragon, I never used it in the tournament, but it seemed like an okay option if I ever needed to make it. One Crystal Wing, this is like the MVP of the Windwitch engine, and won me a few games outright. One Stardust for the Starlight Road, or you could make it as well, and you could make it almost indestructible. You could make it pretty much indestructible as well. One Babuskov, this was the best Exceed in the deck, because I made this a few times. It didn't make people scoop, but it slowed them down a lot and helped me get back in advantage. I actually used Cowboy a lot for game, and it's really fun, especially in 2015, no, not 2015, sorry, 2017, to kill people with Cowboy for game. And I don't know, like, especially because I had room in this extra deck, I just wanted to play it. 101, it has its cool advantages, especially because of Protect. I only used it once in this tournament, but I've used it in other ones. One Dweller, didn't really see that much play, but it could against a deck like Spiral, is just a theory play. One Lightning Shidori, I didn't use it in the tournament, but again, it has a pretty good effect. It's like Castel, but a tad bit better. But it's only for wind type monsters. One Utopia and one Utopia the Lightning. In that matchup against Spiral, I actually ended up making a Utopia Lightning, beating over one of his monsters, but then he had a Decode Talker as well, but he had a monster that had like 2,800 attack. It wasn't the normal guy, but he attached equip spells. And then what he ended up doing was the next turn he normal summoned something and then he had the Decode Talker, and it was just high enough to beat over the Utopia the Lightning. But if he couldn't have done that, I could have had a really great chance to win. Then we have the Decode Talker. Like, it's just a little option that you can make. I only made it once, and it was like iffy. Then our Reaper's targets. We have one ABC Buster, one Toad, and one Double Helix. This came in good with the Ogre targets against the Spiral players, but like when you bricked with too many of your cards, it's not the best. But we have extra deck space, so we could play these in the extra, and it didn't hurt our extra deck at all. I didn't play I didn't actually get to play a Paleo player or a ABC player, so these could have been put up for something else, but I probably wouldn't have made the other cards anyway. And then here's just some tokens. And also I'm starting to rebuild Spirals again. And one card that I got just like yesterday, which was like I've been trying to get for quite a while, and it's a really good card, is I finally got my Firewall Dragon, especially to go with this playmat. Just so good. Firewall, I've done a bit of playtesting with it in Spirals. It's good, but it's not the best as well. But then again, I don't fully know how to play with it yet, since I haven't played with it enough. But it does help you sometimes when you don't know what link to make, and you have like two links that are linked to monsters. And this was the deck profile. It was a really fun deck, and it was a pretty good regional. But a few of the other matchups that I ended up winning against, I won against a Spiral. I won against a Monarch deck. That was my first matchup, and it was like, people are still playing that in 2017. And then I won against... Oh, I forgot the other deck I won against. Yeah, I forgot the other deck I won against. Mustn't have been a big contender if I forgot it. But I did win 3 games, did lose 3. So this is Mpcardsangames signing out.